So, is it everything you hoped for?
It's got its ups and downs.
Hey, any ending's a happy ending if there are giraffes there, I guess. Directed by Ali Abbasi, Episode 9 of The Last of Us, Look for the Light, revisits one of the most shocking video game endings ever, exposing a whole new audience to Joel's big decision. And aside from being an extremely faithful adaptation of the final scenes of the game, this episode also adds a whole new wrinkle to the mythos, an explanation of how Ellie became immune to the cordyceps infection in the first place. We're gonna break all that down along with little details and secrets we spotted along the way, but first, and I really shouldn't have to say this at this point, we're gonna spoil this entire season, so if you haven't caught up, or you'd rather just unpack it on your own time, now is the time to make your way to the nearest emergency exit in an orderly fashion. Go on, get out of here. We're going to talk about spoilers.
What?
It's all right. You're with me. Take it slow.
Okay, let's start with the big one. Unlike the game, the show actually tells us exactly how Ellie became immune to the cordyceps infection and how that immunity works.
Her name is Ellie.
The episode's cold open introduces us to Ellie's mom, Anna, played by Ashley Johnson, who was also Ellie in the original game. Get it? Her performance gave birth to this character in the game, and now she's doing it literally as the character's mother. Anyway, the very pregnant Anna arrives at a Firefly safe house just in time to deliver Ellie, but not before an infected turns up to act as some kind of a murder midwife. Anna kills her fungal birthing partner, but not before it can have a good old chomp on her leg. In all the shock of the situation, Anna barely realizes that she's given birth to a baby, a genuine, real-life baby, which kind of raises the question, where do movies and TV shows get these babies? Are mothers just like handing their newborns over to directors straight out of the womb? Child stardom starts early, I guess. That's probably a question for another video. More pressing right now is the answer to why Ellie is immune. She was connected to her mom via umbilical cord at the time of infection, and so had the fungus right from birth. While this explicit explanation of how Ellie's immune is new for the TV show, there was a vague hint that this was the reason in the original game. During the winter section where you play as Ellie, you can find a letter from her mom in her backpack. This letter, written just a day after Ellie was born, hints that Anna was about to die. Since cordyceps will turn a person within 2 days, Anna must have been bitten the day that Ellie was born.
I'm trying to make you proud.
Anyway, back to the show. Marlene arrives on the scene hours too late to help Anna, but just in time to save Ellie from her own mom.
I cut it before I was bit.
Anna falsely swears that she cut the umbilical cord before she was infected, and so Marlene reluctantly agrees to take care of Ellie, completely oblivious to the fact that she's actually adopting a mutant mushroom baby. Chanterelle? More like Chantarelli, am I right? Sorry, too soon. In the game, Marlene just passes it off as a mutation, but the TV show actually gives us a definitive answer to why Ellie hasn't turned feral. Her dormant infection is producing chemical messengers that make regular cordyceps cells think that she's already turned. The Fireflies now plan to remove the fungus from her brain, multiply its cells in a lab, produce more chemical messengers, and then distribute them as a cure. And so they do, and the world is saved and everyone lives happily ever after, except for Ellie, because she's dead. Nah, I'm just kidding, that's not how it goes at all. Naturally, for a man who spent 9 episodes developing a fatherly bond, Joel doesn't really like the whole idea of a doctor doing a science project on Ellie's brain on account of the part where it, kills her. Totally understandable. So Joel does the thing that any dedicated dad would do, and he blasts a hole in the doctor's head. Okay, maybe that was a little rash and not exactly what I'd call understandable. Sort of seems like the kind of decision that could have some lasting repercussions. What do you think?
Where is she?
Joel's SWAT-like takedown of every Firefly in the building plays out much like it does in the game, right down to him picking up an M4 assault rifle for his final rampage. The hospital is the only place where the gun can be used in the entire game. But this scene isn't the only one taken from the game. In fact, it's probably the least accurate in terms of moment-to-moment recreation due to the fact that it's much shorter in length and it's also, not a playable third-person shooting sequence. For something much closer to the game, we need only look at how Bethany Claire Field Baseball Park has become a lovely home for giraffes. After an extended stretch of total misery, Ellie finally gets a moment of joy when she comes face-to-face with a very tall, very good boy and his family. Aren't they great? I love these big horses. Are they horses? Someone should look into that. As the duo move to the rooftop for a better view, Joel attempts to convince Ellie to give up on their journey and just go back to Tommy's, but exactly like in the game, Ellie refuses.
After all we've been through, everything I've done, it can't be for nothing.
It can't be for nothing.
It's clear that Joel has developed some big, warm, mushy, gooey, ooey feelings for Ellie and is worried that the Fireflies will tear the two of them apart. That would of course be preferable to what Marlene actually has planned. Her conversation with Joel at the hospital is more detailed than in the game, thanks to that full explanation of how the cure can be made, but the emotional beats are just the same. Marlene understands Joel's pain because she was there when Ellie was born and she promised Anna that she would keep her baby safe, and now she has to break that promise. Aw, too bad. Of course, that's not good enough for Joel, and he makes his feelings fairly clear. The final minutes of the episode, in which Joel escapes the hospital with Ellie in his arms, are a near shot-for-shot recreation of the game's concluding cutscene. Marlene confronts Joel and promises he can just walk away despite what he's done, but Joel takes no chances and guns her down in cold blood.
You just come after her.
You just come after her.
Having saved Ellie, who only minutes earlier had said that she had to go through with the journey and all this couldn't have been for nothing, Joel lies about what went down at the hospital. Apparently, the Fireflies have given up on making a cure after testing multiple people who were also immune, and then raiders attacked the hospital and killed everybody except for Joel, who miraculously managed to escape while lugging along an unconscious teenager. That's a cool story, Joel. It sounds like it would make a compelling television program. Anyway, as the two journey back to Jackson, Ellie stops Joel. She recounts the story of when she and Riley were infected and how they plan to lose their minds together, and just like in the game, the music gradually builds as Ellie's suspicions take hold. The final moment sees her pose the ultimate test of Joel's moral character.
Swear to me that everything you said about the Fireflies is true.
I swear.
Okay.
The season premiere may have opened very differently to the video game with its extended depiction of Joel and Sarah's everyday life, but the finale ends quite literally note for note like the original game. That end credits tune is of course perfect backing music for you to ponder if you'd sacrifice your surrogate child to experimental brain surgery in order to maybe save the entire world from the fungal apocalypse. You know, just a fun thought starter for when you can't sleep at night and you just want to stare at the ceiling and feel sad about things.
Okay.
This being the finale, there wasn't much space for Easter eggs between all the heavy plot beats, but there were still a fun few little details to spot. We're given the origin story of Ellie's knife, which originally belonged to Anna. It was used to kill the runner responsible not only for Ellie's tragic start in life, but also her immunity. I guess that does make it something of a lucky charm, so no wonder it was given to a baby for lifelong keepsaking. Just that classic baby shower gift. A switchblade, what could go wrong? But really, in a kind of twisted way, it also sort of saves Ellie's life later on, since Joel uses the knife as part of his raid on the hospital. While traveling down a highway, Joel loots an RV of a couple of fun items. There's a can of Chef Boyardee ravioli, the quick and convenient, delicious Italian flavors that the duo loved a few episodes back, as well as Boggle, the family word game that would make a great activity for a father and surrogate daughter. Joel also finds a broken guitar and promises to teach Ellie how to play, which is of course a link to The Last of Us Part 2, the game, in which Joel gives Ellie his guitar and says that he'll teach her the way of the sixth string. And then of course there's the very ambitious, impressive minigame where you can actually play an entire guitar with your PlayStation controller, which is kind of tricky, but some people have figured out how to do cool stuff with that. Unfortunately for Joel, Ellie doesn't seem too excited about games or music or Chef Boyardee on account of she's recovering from hitting a man 21 times in the skull with a meat cleaver. Remember that? Last week? If you've played The Last of Us, you may recall this pasta-providing RV, which in the game is home to a family of corpses who have long since tragically perished. These guys didn't actually have any ravioli or Boggle on them, but they did provide some insight into their final days through a family photo with the words "Forgive us" written on the back, which is, good God, bleak. Speaking of which, this episode also sees Joel reveal that he tried to kill himself on the second day of the outbreak. As he and Ellie walk through the remains of an emergency medical camp, Joel explains that after Sarah had died, he couldn't see the point of living, so he attempted to shoot himself. While there's nothing like this scene in the game, during the Pittsburgh area, the duo find two people who killed themselves, which Ellie considers the easy way out, and Joel tells her, "Trust me, it ain't easy," which suggests that the game version of Joel also wrestled with suicidal thoughts.
Trust me, it ain't easy.
Let's not end on something so dour though. The show couldn't conclude without a true Last of Us classic, and so yes, we finally get a ladder puzzle, and not just any regular old ladder either. No, we got perhaps the most memorable ladder scene from a game that is stacked top to bottom, with great moments involving ladders. And in this one, Ellie almost drops a ladder because she gets excited about giraffes. Now, there's no good excuse for not practicing ladder safety, but actually, yeah, there is. Giraffes, because giraffes are great. Look at them. Giraffes don't need ladders. They have long necks, and they can reach stuff using their necks. Let's just look at the giraffes for a minute. Keep showing the giraffe clip. Okay, I think we're good. Well, what did you think of this episode? Did that ending hit as hard in live action form? Did the giraffes deliver a powerhouse performance worthy of an Emmy? Most importantly, who do you think should play Abby in season 2? Let us know what you think in the comments below, and as always, thank you for watching this episode of Canon Fodder. I'm Max Scoville. For more on The Last of Us, check out our breakdown of last week's cannibal-filled penultimate episode, as well as our game-to-show comparison. And really, if you'd like more deep dives on shows where Pedro Pascal babysits and also commits murder, check out our coverage of The Mandalorian Season 3. For everything else, keep it right here on IGN.
Look, sometimes things don't work out the way we hope. You can feel like you've come to an end. And you don't know what to do next. But if you just keep going, you find something new to fight for.